Shalom, shalom, shalom. We are back with another video. Today we will be going over the Rechabites, who they were, kind of why the Most High blessed them the way he did, and just tracing their lineage back, kind of see where they came from, right? So let's get right into it. First and foremost, giving all praise, all honor to the Most High Yah in the name of his son, Yeshua HaMashiach. All right. So let's get right into it. We're going to do Jeremiah 35 and 1. All right. So the word came unto Jeremiah from the Lord in the days of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, saying, Go into the house of the Rechabites and speak unto them, and bring them into the house of the Lord, into one of the chambers, and give them wine to drink. Then I took Jazaniah, the son of Jeremiah, the son of Habazaniah, and his brethren, and all his sons, in the whole house of the Rechabites. And I brought them into the house of the Lord, into the chamber of the sons of Hanan, the son of Igdaliah, a man of God, which was by the chamber of the princes, which was above the chamber of Maaseiah, the son of Shallum, the keeper of the door. And I set before the sons of the house of the Rechabites pots full of wine and cups, and I said unto them, Drink ye wine. But they said, We will drink no wine, for Jonadab, the son of Rechab, our father, commanded us, saying, Ye drink no wine, neither ye nor your sons forever. Neither shall ye build house, nor sow seed, nor plant vineyard, nor have any, but all your days ye shall dwell in tents, that ye may live many days in the land where ye be strangers. Thus we have obeyed the voice of Jonadab, the son of Rechab, our father, in all that he has charged us, to drink no wine all our days, we, our wives, our sons, nor our daughters, nor to build houses for us to dwell in, neither have we vineyard, nor field, nor seed. But we have dwelt in tents, and have obeyed and done according to all that Jonadab our father commanded us. But it came to pass, when Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon came up into the land, that we said, Come, let us go to Jerusalem, for fear of the army of the Chaldeans, and for fear of the army of the Syrians. So we dwell at Jerusalem. Right? So who are the Rechabites? Right? The Rechabites were a non-Israelite people descended from Jonadab, as the text says. Now Jonadab was the son of Rechab. Now, despite their foreign origin, they were commended by the Most High Yah for their faithfulness to the commands of their forefather. Obviously, according to Jeremiah 35, 1 through 11. And Jonadab had instructed them to not drink wine, not to build a house, not to sow seed, not to plant a vineyard, and to dwell in tents, right? Now, amazingly, the Rechabites upheld these commandments over 200 years later, right? Jeremiah 35 and 1 states that when Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, Jeremiah 35, 11, the last verse that we just read, states that when Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, invaded the land, the Rechabites fled to Jerusalem for safety. Now, who was at Jerusalem? The tribe of Judah, right? Now, this detail confirms that non-Israelites, or gārîms, were living among Judah, consistent with Torah provisions for foreigners who sojourned with Israel, right? Now, what made the Rechabites so significant? What made them so special in the eyes of the Lord is that their distinction lies in their unwavering obedience, right? While Judah failed to keep the commandments of Yah, the Rechabites remained faithful to Jonadab's charge. As a result, Yah made an everlasting promise. We see that in Jeremiah 35:19. Jonadab, the son of Rechab, shall not lack a man to stand before me forever. Right? So let's get that. Therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, Jonadab, the son of Rechab, shall not want a man to stand before me forever. Now he chastises Judah, right? Judah rebuked. So basically, he's chastising Judah for not keeping the commands of their forefathers, But yet these non-Israelites, these strangers that sojourn among them, right, that are sojourning among Judah, can keep the commandments of their forefathers, obviously on top of Torah, right? So now let's work our way back. This mirrors the covenantal promise made to David and the Levites. Let's go to Jeremiah 33. Almost forgot about this important part. So Jeremiah 33, 17 through 21. Let's read that. It says, "For thus saith the Lord, David shall never want a man to sit upon the throne of the house of Israel. Neither shall the priests, the Levites, want a man before me to offer burnt offerings, and to kindle meat offerings, and to do sacrifice continually." And the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah, saying, "Thus saith the Lord, if ye can break my covenant of the day and my covenant of the night, and that there should not be day and night in their season, then may also my covenant be broken with David my servant, that he should not have a son to reign upon his throne, and with the Levites, the priests, my ministers." Right? So again, the promise that Yah made to the Rechabites, Jonadab the son of Rechab shall not lack a man to stand before me forever, sounds familiar to what he just said to Jeremiah concerning his servant David, when he said, that he should not have a son to reign upon his throne, right? So that language is the same, right? Now, this places the Rechabites in honored company, right? Yah declares that the seed of David, the Levites, and the strangers, the Rechabites, the gārîm, are established forever. These three groups, Judah, Levi, and the gārîm, they kind of form a triad, right? And these three will always be linked together, as we will see, right? So now let's work our way back, right? So we know that the Rechabites descend from Jonadab, right? And Jonadab is the son of Rechab, right? So we know who the Rechabites are. Now let's look at Jonadab. Who is Jonadab, right? Now Jonadab was a Kenite, which is a non-Israelite, and he first appears in 2 Kings 10, 15 through 18. So let's get that real quick. 2 Kings 10, 15 through 18. And when he had departed thence, he lighted on Jehonadab, the son of Rechab, coming to meet him, and he saluted him and said to him, "Is thine heart right, as my heart is with thy heart?" And Jehonadab answered, "It is. If it be, give me thy hand." And he gave him his hand, and he took him up to him into the chariot. And he said, "Come with me and see my zeal for the Lord." So they made him ride in his chariot. And when he came to Samaria, he slew all that remained unto Ahab in Samaria, till he had destroyed him, according to the saying of the Lord, which he spake to Elijah. Now, the one that's doing the slaughtering and the one who says, "See my zeal," that's Jehonadab, right? The king is Ahaziah. That's the king, right? So we see Jehonadab aligning himself. With Jehu. Jehu. Jehu was a king. Jehu met with his brethren of Uzziah, king of Judah, right? So Jehu was the king that saw the zeal of Jehonadab, right? Now he aligned himself with Jehu, king of Israel, in executing judgment against the house of Ahab. His support for Jehu revealed his zeal for righteousness and his alignment with the Most High's purpose, right? Because this all lined up with the Most High, with what the Most High had prophesied through the prophet Elijah, right? Now, this righteous act could have contributed to the divine favor his descendants later received. His faithfulness was recognized in Jeremiah 35:19, which granted his lineage service before Yah. So basically what I'm saying is that him doing this for the King Jehu and having zeal for the Most High, even though he's a non-Israelite, put his lineage in the position to be blessed by Yah, right? Now, Jonadab is the son of Rechab, right? So like I said, we're working our way back to see who exactly do the Rechabites descend from, right? So Rechab, Jonadab is the son of Rechab, right? So now let's see who Rechab is, right? Rechab, Jehonadab's father, is referenced in 1 Chronicles 2 and 55, right? So let's go there to 1 Chronicles. Like I said, we're just working our way back, just to see who they descend from, right? 1 Chronicles 2 and 55, and the families of the scribes which dwelt at Jabez, the Terethites, the Shemaites, the Shimeathites, the Succothites, man, all these thites. These are the Kenites that came of Hamath, the father of the house of Rechab, right? So we see that the house of Rechab is connected to the Kenites, right? Specifically from Hamath, right? Now, this same chapter ties Rechab to the house and tribe of Judah, right? Because 1 Chronicles 2 and 3 says what? The sons of Judah, Er and Onan and Shelah, right? So from 1 Chronicles 2-3 on down, that's when we see Rechab, right? In the Kenites, right? That came from Hamath, right? So again, there's that connection of this time Rechab being connected to Judah, just like the Rechabites were connected to Judah in Jeremiah 35 and 1 through 11, right? So they've always been intertwined together, right? Now, so again, this shows that there's been a long-standing relationship and association between the Rechabites and Judah, right? Now, who were the Kenites and Hamath, right? Now, the Kenites were a Midianite people, and their lineage can be traced back to Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses, right? That was the punchline. So the Kenites are traced back to Jethro, and we see that in Judges 4 and 11. It says, now Heber the Kenite, which was of the children of Hobab, the father-in-law of Moses, had severed himself from the Kenites and pitched his tent onto the plain of Zanaim, which is by Kadesh, right? So Hodab, let's get it, was another name for Moses' father-in-law Jethro, right? The son of Reuel, the Midianite father-in-law of Moses, also known as Jethro, right? So that's that, right? Now we further see this in, let's see, Judges 1. Let's go there. Judges 1 and 16. It says, and the children of the Kenite, Moses' father-in-law, went up out of the city of palm trees with the children of Judah into the wilderness of Judah, which lieth in the south of Arad. And they went and dwelt among the people. So again, this shows that the Rechabites, which come from the Kenites, or the Rechabites that come from Rechab, that come from the Kenites, have always had a relationship with Judah, right? Hence why in Jeremiah 35, they had no problem going down to Jerusalem when Nebuchadnezzar was coming in, right? So, make sure y'all saw that. And the children of the Kenite, Moses' father-in-law, went up out of the city of palm trees with the children of Judah into the wilderness of Judah, which lieth in the south of Arad, and they went and dwelt among the people, right? So, let's see. Okay, yeah. Now, so this confirms that connection, right? Judges 4:11 and Judges 1:16, right? Now let's look at Jethro, right? So let's go to Exodus 1. Exodus 3 and 1. It says, now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of God, even to Horeb, right? So that's Jethro. He was a Midian priest, right? A non-Israelite, right? Actually worshiped another god until he came into covenant with the Most High. And we see this in Exodus 18, right? I think most people miss this. Exodus 18, 10 through 12, right? And it says, and Jethro blessed the Lord who hath delivered you. Okay. And Jethro said, blessed be the Lord who hath delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of Pharaoh, who hath delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods, for in the thing wherein they dwelt proudly, he was above them. Right? So now he's acknowledging Yah as the Most High God, right? Because he was a priest of other gods. Now he's acknowledging, he's making that confession that Yah is the Most High, right? Let's see. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and sacrifices for God. Excuse me. And Aaron came, right? That's Levitical priesthood. And all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses and to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God. So we see the declaration of Jethro acknowledging the Most High as the Most High, right? So he's denouncing all of these other gods and pagan idols that he once worshipped and acknowledging Yah as the Most High, right? But look what he does next. He does a burnt offering and sacrifice for Yah, right? So he's offering up the sacrifice. That's one of the ways you enter into covenant with the Most High. If you go back to my covenant series, every covenant involved a sacrifice, whether it's the Adamic covenant, right? And something had to die for them to be covered. The Noah covenant, once he got off the boat, he made a sacrifice. The Abrahamic covenant, he was told to split the meat in half and so that he can pass through. The Mosaic covenant, Exodus 19, they slaughtered the bulls and sprinkled the blood on the people, right? The new covenant, Christ is the sacrifice. There's always a sacrifice when entering into a covenant, right? So Jethro just entered into covenant with the Most High, right? And what sealed the deal was the covenantal meal. Now they ate bread. That is a covenantal meal, right? Again, in my covenantal series, I go into that to where a covenantal meal seals the deal, right? The covenantal meal for the Mosaic covenant was when Moses, Aaron, and all the 70 elders, they ate bread and saw and ate bread with God. As the text says, right? And then the covenantal meal with the new covenant is obviously Passover in Christ, when he said, this is the bread, my body is broken, this is the wine, the blood of the new covenant, right? So the covenantal meal is very crucial. So Jethro has entered into covenant alongside of Israel with the Most High, and he's a non-Israelite, right? So he entered into covenant, confessing Yah as the one true God, offering sacrifices and having a covenantal meal. And only then is he able to give Moses wisdom, right? Because check this out. So he enters into covenant in Exodus 18:12. Exodus 18:17, he counsels Moses, right? So Jethro's wisdom helped structure Israel's leadership. We see this in Exodus 18:17 through 27, right? When he told him, break the people up, choose men out of who are able and set them over men of hundreds, men of 50s, men of tens, men of thousands, right? and let them handle the issues, right? And then if something that they can't handle, then they bring it to you, right? So that's where we get this whole captain over 100 that we see in the community today, right? He captain over 1,000, right? All this stuff comes from a non-Israelite, right? But what's even crazier than that is that once he entered into the covenant with Yah, he was able to give Moses godly wisdom, right? And that agreed to Moses' spirit and to Yah, and it helped Moses' leadership, right? So there's that. Now, because Jethro entered into covenant, right? His lineage was able to enjoin themselves to Israel, right? Because we see in Exodus 18:27, it says, and Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way into his own land. But we see in Judges that his descendants still stayed with Israel, right? Let's go back over that. So even though Jethro left, his descendants settled with Israel. What was that, 19? Let's see, verse 16. And the children of the Kenite, Moses' father-in-law, went up out of the city of palm trees with the children of Judah into the wilderness of Judah, which lieth in the south of Arad, and they went and dwelt among the people. This is Judges 1. They're still conquering. They're still divvying up land, right? They're still getting the Ammonites and the Moabites and the Canaanites and all these stuff. They're still getting them out of the land at this point, right? So if the children of the Kenite, right, Moses' father-in-law, right, were there upon the time of them divvying up the land, right? We see this in Joshua 8. This is who were those strangers, the gārîms. Joshua 8:33. And it said, and all Israel and their elders and officers and their judges stood on this side of the ark and on that side before the priests, the Levites, which bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, as well as the stranger, that's the gārîm. All right, y'all know that's the gārîm. See, H16:16, gārîm. Right? As he that was born among them, half of them over against Mount Gerizim, and half of them over against Mount Ebal, as Moses the servant of the Lord had commanded before, that they should bless the people of Israel. So again, bless the people of Israel. Now, who do the people of Israel encompass? The priests, the Levites, the elders, the officers, the judges, right? The stranger, right? So these are the strangers. These are, we can say that these, not all of them, but these are Kenites, descendants of Jethro, right? Because we see that in Judges 1:16, right? So again, not only right here, but in, of course, Deuteronomy 29, right? Your little ones, your wives, and thy stranger that is in thy camp, from the hewer of thy wood unto the drawer of water, right? Again, that stranger is the gārîm, right? So these gārîms that are coming into covenant with the Most High, with Israel, who are with Joshua as they cross over, and he's blessing the people of Israel, who end up settling in land with Judah, right? Who end up getting some land in Israel, right? Because we see this in Ezekiel, right? Let me see. Ezekiel 47. Oh. I forgot how to spell. Boy, come my brain for it. Okay, there we go. Good grief. All right, so we see it. It says Ezekiel. All right, so we see this in Ezekiel. Yeah, do that one. Let me just do the abbreviation. I'm tripping. Okay, Ezekiel 47. Goodness. All right, 21 through 23. So shall ye divide this land unto you according to the tribes of Israel. And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you and to the strangers that sojourn among you, which shall beget children among you, and they shall be unto you as born in the country among the children of Israel. They shall have inheritance with you among the tribes of Israel. And it shall come to pass that in what tribe the stranger sojourneth, there shall ye give him his inheritance, saith the Lord God. So we all know that the inheritance can't pass between tribes, right? So the stranger can decide which tribe to sojourn with, right? And we see the Kenites, they chose Judah, right? And we see all the way up into the Rechabites, they still had land in Judah, right? So that's the precedence, right? So let me see. Okay, so yeah, so basically the Rechabites' origins in Jethro, in Jethro's line, underscore their status as righteous foreigners, right, who remained faithful to Yah. They dwelt among Judah from the time of conquest and received land as an inheritance alongside of Judah, which was foreshadowing what Ezekiel prophesied in Ezekiel 47 that we just read, right? Where strangers are granted inheritance among the tribes of Israel. Now, interestingly, non-Israelites repeatedly chose to dwell with Judah, the very tribe from which the Messiah, Hamashiach, would come. This is not by coincidence. Today, however, many from Judah actually reject strangers from the covenant, right? Which they bring a curse upon themselves. So let's go to Malachi. Let's go to Malachi 3:5. And I will come near to you to judgment, and I will be a swift witness against the sorcerers and against the adulterers, against false swearers, and against those that oppress the hireling in his wages, the widow and the fatherless, that turn aside the stranger and fear not me, saith the Lord of hosts. Now, from his right is added, right? So I can't really do too much with that. You know, you gotta have some integrity when dealing with these scriptures, right? So when you turn aside the stranger, you're putting yourself in judgment with the Most High, right? So again, Malachi 3:5 warns against mistreating the stranger. Same thing with Matthew 23. Let's go to Matthew 23 and 13 with Hamashiach. But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in. Now these people want to keep the commandments. They want to confess Hamashiach as their Lord and Savior. But you got some people that's pushing them away and saying this ain't for you, keeping them out of the kingdom. And according to Hamashiach, you yourselves won't make it in, right? So yeah, we gotta be very careful on how we treat these strangers, right? Now, again, Judah has been an historic safe haven for strangers seeking Yah, you know, as it still should be today. There's plenty of examples. So let's go through a few examples. Caleb the Kenizzite, he's a non-Israelite who became a leader of Judah and received land. That's Numbers 13:6 and Judges 15:13. We got Jarha the Egyptian, married into the tribe of Judah. His lineage, including Attai, his first son, is counted among Judah. Let's go there. This is First Chronicles. Now I did a video on Caleb. Y'all can go check that out. And I break it down and prove and show that Caleb is a non-Israelite. That it goes without a shadow of a doubt. So again, First Chronicles 2 and 3, the sons of Judah. So now we're gonna go through the lineage of Judah, right? So let's see. What is that? 34. Now Sheshan had no sons but daughters, and Sheshan had a servant, an Egyptian, whose name was Jarha. And Sheshan the Israelite gave his daughter to Jorah the Egyptian, his servant, to wife, and she bare him Attiah, right? Now let's see how the blue. For one, let's look up at Jorah, right? The Egyptian slave, right? So that's Jorah. He's an Egyptian, but what is his son? A Judite, grandson of Sheshan, the Jerahmeelite, right? So blue letter says that Jorah is an Egyptian, but his son is a Judite, right? So this is an example of, right, the mother. I know we don't like to say this because we like to go to Numbers and Nehemiah and Ezra. The father, you are what your father is. You are what your father is, right? And I'm cool with that. But there's also a precedence to where the mother dictated that son, that Attiah, was an Israelite. And from Attiah on down, they're all Israelites. Y'all can go check it for yourself. They're all Israelites, right? So there's that. Then you have the Gibeonites, non-Israelites, allowed to dwell in Benjamin's territory and protected by Yah. So let's go to Joshua 9. Got the Gibeonites, and those were the original hewers of wood and drawers of water. 9. Where is it? Oh, this whole chapter. I'm sorry. So the gal of the Gibeonites. So you got to read this. The Gibeonites tricked the Israelites. And so Joshua was like, okay, since we made that oath to you, we're not going to kill you, but you got to be a hewer of wood and a drawer of water, right? But also, let's go to Joshua to show that the Gibeon were in Benjamin's territory. Joshua 18:21. So we said, now the cities of the tribe of the children of Benjamin, according to their families, were Jericho and Beth Hoglah in the valley of Kazez, and then we're going down Gibeon. So obviously the Gibeonites are from Gibeon, and Gibeon was included in the cities of Benjamin, right? So again, the non-Israelites had land within Israel, right? And then we have the strangers in Judah. Let's go to 2 Chronicles. And I'm almost done, guys. 2 Chronicles 2:17. It says, and Solomon numbered all of the strangers. Again, we got to go to the original. Gar, right there. Yeah. Gar. All right. So this is, let's see what that is. Okay, so it's the male strangers, right? So, I mean, there was women strangers, there were children strangers, so it's making a distinction, right? So, and Solomon numbered all the strangers that were in the land of Israel after the numbering wherewith David his father had numbered them, and they were found 3,600, right? So these are strangers in the land of Israel, right? These are not a person from Judah traveling to Manasseh and oh, hey, I'm a stranger. No, these are not Israelites that were born and raised in Egypt, and for whatever reason coming back to Israel, and now they're considered stranger. No, these were strangers that were in the land of Israel, meaning that's where they lived, and Solomon numbered them. Right? We can't overthink this stuff, guys. Like it's very simple. Strangers, gars, dwell among Israel. There's no getting around it, right? So let's go to 2 Chronicles 30:25. And it says, and all the congregation of Judah with the priests and the Levites and all the congregation that came out of Israel and the strangers, again, who are those strangers? The Gar. And the strangers that came out of the land of Israel and that dwelt in Judah rejoiced. Right? So this is strangers keeping the Passover that Hezekiah had put on. Passover reinstituted, right? So these are strangers taking and keeping the Passover. Why? Because they were circumcised. We see this in Exodus 12. This is why people don't understand. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised. This stranger is a gār. So those strangers in 2 Chronicles 30 were all circumcised, hence why they were able to keep the Passover, right? They were gārs, right? That's in real time. 2 Chronicles is in real time. They're strangers, right? Nobody's living outside of Israel and coming back. No, it said all the strangers. Let me see what it said. It said all the strangers. It said all the strangers that came out of the land of Israel. That it didn't say that came from other countries, right? It didn't say come from this place and that place or the third. It says they came out of the land of Israel. These are non-Israelites that had joined themselves to Israel and kept the Passover because they were circumcised via Exodus 12 and 48. Simple as that. Also, the gārs were grouped with the Levites. So let's go to Deuteronomy 14 and 29. It says, and the Levite, because he hath no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, which are within thy gates, not live outside the land, are within thy gates, shall come and shall eat and be satisfied, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all the work of thy hand, which thou doest. Who is that stranger? Gār, right? So again, the gār is not your typical heathen, typical foreigner, a typical alien, not your typical toshav, the sojourner. He's not that, right? He's different, right? Ironically enough, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi all became the southern kingdom, and these are the three main tribes that carried the gārs, right? Last thing, these examples prove that Israel was never an Israel-only type of culture or type of population, right? From the beginning, Israel had an eclectic population of righteous foreigners who served Yah and were honored for their obedience, right? So in conclusion, the Rechabites stand as a powerful testimony of Yah's character, right? Though not of Israelite descent, they received an everlasting promise because of their obedience, right? Their history proves that righteousness and covenant loyalty, not ethnicity, defines one's standing before the Most High. So if you do what the Most High tell you to do, he'll look past you not being an ethnic Israelite. We see that with the gārs, right? Judah's historic role as a tribe of refuge for strangers, for gārs, points prophetically to Hamashiach, who came from Judah to gather all nations, right? To Yah. To exclude non-Israelites from salvation or covenantal promises is not only unbiblical, but it invites judgment via Malachi 3:5, right? Let us not forget, yes, Israel has the hierarchy because Yah chose them to bring forth Hamashiach. But it is through Hamashiach that all nations are drawn to Yah and grafted into his covenant. All right, that's it for today. If this video has brought clarity or encouragement, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this message, right? Drop a comment if you ever heard someone say salvation is for Israel only, right? And let's talk about it. And if you believe salvation is only for Israel, drop a comment and let's get to it, right? Until next time, stay rooted in the truth and walk in righteousness. Shalom.